Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. It's Hat and Beard, and you guys know it. This week we got the draft coming up on Thursday, and I couldn't be more excited about it. I'm going to do a quick series here. We're going to call it What the Lions Can Do in the First Round. I see us going 3 possible routes with the 6th overall pick, and in this video we'll be discussing the first possible route and what I think is probably about 80% likely what could happen. Let's get into it. So as you guys know, I am the biggest fan of trading out of the 6th overall pick, whether that be to move up potentially or what I really want to have happen where we move back, because as you guys know, I'm a massive fan of all of the draft capital. I'd really love to see us trade out of 6, but we're not going to discuss that right now. What the Lions will do if they sit tight at 6 and just see how the chips break down, ultimately picking a player with the 6th overall pick. In an ideal world, you guys, the Lions will have Will Anderson somehow fall to them at 6. Though that's an ideal world, and I don't think it's going to happen. If I'm being honest, I would bet that the Houston Texans are going to take someone like a Will Anderson. Rumors coming out of Houston are that D'Amico Ryans wants to go the defensive route, and the brass wants to go and get their quarterback because, well, the Houston Texans really need quarterback help. I thought maybe they would target somebody a little bit more high profile in free agency, i.e. a Derek Carr. And if you guys really want to see my breakdown of it, I did a video a couple months ago talking about the rise of the player coach and how D'Amico Ryans will probably follow suit with Mike Vrabel and Dan Campbell by selecting defensive players and letting a veteran quarterback really kind of help correct your team instead of putting all the pressure on a young quarterback. If Houston was smart, they would take someone like a Will Anderson over, like, say, a CJ Stroud or Bryce Young, whomever isn't going to Carolina. Odds are it's going to be Bryce Young, though. And I don't know if, even if Will Anderson makes it past Houston, you know, Arizona needs help on defense, and Will Anderson is a dynamic player that really elevates any defense he's on, which is why I really would like to see him fall to Detroit. But he's got to make it past, Houston, Arizona. I could see him going to Seattle real well. But I don't think Will Anderson's going to fall to us. All the rumors coming out of Detroit have also signified that we're not going to be looking at a Jalen Carter, so I'm pretty sure he's off the board as well. So what would the Lions do if we're sitting at 6? Will Anderson's not there. Jalen Carter, we're not sold on him. Potentially, you could say in an ideal world, maybe a CJ Stroud slides to us. AR-15 will be there. Do you want to go the quarterback route? I'm not sold on that. You guys know around these here parts, we're Jared Goff truthers. I think Jared Goff is more than adequate for what our team is looking to do for the next couple of years. So what are we going to do if we're sitting tight at 6? I think it's pretty simple, guys. You take one of 3 players. Well, really one of 4 players, but 2 of them are at the same spot. My least favorite route of this particular way it breaks down if we're sitting at 6, I would not be necessarily the happiest if we went the corner route. Again, that is me having a hangover from Jeff Brokuda. I think that we have adequate veteran corners that are able to come in and play, and maybe first round isn't the right round to go after a corner, especially at the 6th overall pick. However, if we are going to go that route, the 2 guys that really jump off the board at 6 to me are either Christian Gonzalez, the athletic freak out of Oregon, or Kirby Joseph's former teammate, Devin Witherspoon, the corner out of Illinois. Either one of those players, the argument can be made that they should go at 6 to the Lions. I, again, though, have recency bias. This is purely a me thing. I'm still hungover from Jeff Brokuda, so I would like to not go that direction. The other 2 players we can look at are, if things were to break down so that Will Anderson isn't there, ideally that means that Tyree Wilson has somehow slid to us down at 6. I know the knocks on Tyree Wilson. People are like, well, he doesn't have a lot of flash on his tape. He's a run stopper. He's got a 7'2" wingspan. And to that I say, yeah, exactly. That's what we need. We have plenty of pass rushing edge players. Where we struggled last year was in stopping the run. And if you don't want to go the Jalen Carter route, Go the Tyree Wilson route. At least you get a dynamic, run-stopping, young defensive presence on the edge who can stretch the line, who can really act as a bookend for any of your pass rush specialists. And I'm not saying Hutch is just a specialist. Hutch is an all-down player. But you have this solid bookend for Hutch to collapse the pocket, for Houston to collapse the pocket, to really solidify and anchor your end position on the defensive line. I think Tyree Wilson would be a really rock-solid pick right there. I think he fits our defensive scheme well, and I think his athleticism will help elevate him at the next level to develop more of a pass rush repertoire. Clearly, we have the coaching staff that can. So I would be very happy if we were to somehow draft Tyree Wilson at 6, if we are to sit at 6, and Will Anderson doesn't fall. All of these other variables all have to take place. The final player that I'm looking for is to potentially sit at 6 and take is probably one of my favorite players in this whole draft. You guys have heard me talk about him numerous times, but Peter Skoronski, the tackle out of Northwestern. He can play inside, he can play outside. He's got a career trajectory of playing 10, 12 years at a high level. He's got the brains to go along with the brawn because he played at Northwestern. You know the guy's smart. Does he fit the Dan Campbell culture? It seems like it. Could I see Brad Holmes electing to go with the Skoronski route? Yeah, I really could. Now I hear what a lot of you guys are saying. But we have 2 tackles that already play great. And I say, yes, that's wonderful. We've discussed this before. Taylor Decker is going to be aging out of the league and pricing himself out of being able to stay with the Lions long term. Penei Sewell is a future Hall of Fame player who's playing out of position at the right tackle. He's a natural left tackle player. So you go ahead and you draft Skoronski. He can play either of the tackle positions, and he can immediately come in and play at one of the interior guard positions. We know that the right guard is a position of need. We know that Jonah Jackson might not be re-signing with the Lions because, again, the scale of players at his level, he's going to be commanding probably too much money than we necessarily want to be spending, considering there's other positions that we could go out and make a splash at in free agency. So Skoronski fits all of our needs. You get him the pedigree, you get him the experience playing guard, and then when Sewell moves to left tackle, you can either swing Skoronski over to the right tackle, or you just keep him at guard if that's more of a natural fit for him, and you go out and you find another player or you draft another player. Either way, I think Peter Skoronski is a sneaky pick for us to take at 6, and one that I would be incredibly happy with. It would be a complete change in the direction of all of our conversations that everyone's been having all offseason. Mostly the names that have been hitting the fan a lot have been AR-15, Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, Christian Gonzalez. I've seen some people taking Kalijah Cansey at the 6th spot. I would much rather see Cansey at the 18 spot. I'd rather see us sit back. You guys know that I'd much rather just see us trade out of everything. But if we were to sit tight at 6, my favorite players at that spot are, in fact, Peter Skoronski, Tyree Wilson, and then one of the top-rated corners, be it a Devin Witherspoon who played with Kirby Joseph in college and has already said on the record that he'd love to come and play in Detroit with his former college teammate. If we're sitting at 6, I'm in love with the Skoronski pick. Obviously, you guys know that I want Will Anderson to fall to us. That's probably not going to happen, and I'm completely off Jalen Carter. So there you have it, guys. Those are one of the 3 routes that I see us doing with the 6th overall pick. This is my least favorite of the options, is to sit at 6. I'd much rather see us trade back. It's probably, I guess maybe not my least favorite, but it's tied with trading up. I don't want to see us trade up. I'd much rather collect more draft capital or just sit tight. So that's going to be it for me, guys. Hope you've had a wonderful day. Enjoy your evening. Stay out of trouble. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And get out of here.
Time to 23 Skidoo. Or should I say 69 Skidoo?
She said that my pornos were boring.